many Albertans over the course of the past 2 weeks, tens of thousands of Albertans have been receiving layoff notices. Businesses have been closing their doors, and people wonder whether those businesses will be reopening and whether those jobs will be coming back. We want those Albertans to understand that their provincial government will do everything within its power to ensure a future as we get through this very challenging time, created not only by the shutdown of the global economy coming from the pandemic, but also as a result of the unprecedented collapse in global energy prices. In particular, Alberta employers are facing a more challenging time than they have perhaps since the 1930s. And that is why our government has already taken a series of measures to both support households and employers through these challenging times. The last thing Albertans need to worry about right now is their finances, but their employment is being interrupted, and we know people are very anxious about their bank accounts, about their personal budgets, about their future. That's why we're continuing to build on our plan to support people through these unprecedented times. And so I have a series of additional measures that we are announcing today to help people stay afloat during this unprecedented economic downturn. Effective immediately, we are reversing the increase to the education property tax that was announced in Budget 2020. Things have changed drastically, and Albertans shouldn't have to worry about a higher property tax level. Therefore, we are maintaining 2019 property tax requisition amounts to lower the burden. This will save about $55 million for households and $32 million for businesses, totaling more than $87 million a year. Additionally, to help people working and assist Alberta employers, government will defer its portion of 6 months' worth of the education property tax on non-residential non-residential properties. These deferred amounts will be delayed until October of 2020. This means employers will only be responsible for 50% of the education property tax that they would have owed for this year. The deferred amounts will need to be repaid in subsequent years, and payment plans are being developed. We'll keep our options open if some form of additional targeted relief is necessary. And Minister Toews and I were on a call with the mayors of Calgary and Edmonton, as well as the president of the Alberta Urban Municipalities Association today. We understand that they'll be looking for ways that they can help as well with property tax assistance, but that will be up to them within their financial conditions. This deferral means that over the next 6 months, $458 million will remain with employers to help them pay employees and continue operating. We strongly encourage commercial landlords to pass these savings on to business tenants through reduced or deferred lease payments. We also, as I say, these savings are expected to be fully realized by Albertans and by Alberta employers. This is very important because as so many businesses are shut their doors this month in response to the public health crisis, we need those employers to know that there will be, we're not going to drain their bank accounts from payments. They will have more cash on hand to get through this challenging time so they can reopen their doors when the public health crisis has abated. We will also be deferring workers' compensation board premiums to allow private sector employers until the end of this year, affecting approximately 184,000 businesses. A deferral provides flexibility and support while employers maintain their WCB coverage and injured workers continue to receive the benefits and supports they need to work. This will not affect benefits for injured workers. It simply is a deferral on the premiums for the employers. And as a further step, small and medium-sized private sector employers will only have to pay for half of their 2020 Workers' Compensation Board premiums. Government will take care of the other half. So for small and medium-sized businesses, we're cutting in half their WCB premiums this year, and for anything for the next several months, they won't have to make payments in any event. This means up to 183 small and medium-sized employers will have immediate financial relief as we deal with the pandemic. Employers who have already paid some of their 2020 WCB premiums will be refunded upon request or have the amount paid credited to their account. We're doing everything we can to support families and employers through this crisis and are continually reassessing the situation. This is in addition to the $1,146 biweekly emergency isolation payments, which will become available on My Alberta this week. People will be able to apply through alberta.ca. That is a bridge payment for folks who have to be in isolation until a similar federal program kicks in early April. It's also in addition to our deferral of business taxes this year, to our direction to the Alberta Treasury branches and to credit unions to provide for mortgage payment relief, as well as flexibility on commercial loan and personal loans. It's in addition to our elimination of AER fees for the balance of the year for energy producers, and our direction to gas and electricity utilities companies not to engage in collections for the next 3 months, giving people relief on the utilities payments. It's also in addition to our deferral on Alberta student loan payments, as well as the government will be covering the interest costs in the interim. And in addition to the $500,000 emergency supplement to the health budget, the $60 million civil society fund that is helping homeless shelters and charities serve the most vulnerable at this time. I have a couple of other messages before taking your questions. First of all, we have tens of thousands of snowbirds returning home from points south now at the end of March. We need to send a message to all of them that they must self-isolate at their homes immediately upon return to Alberta. This does not mean going to the grocery store. It does not mean going to the kennel to pick up your dog. It does not mean dropping your RV off at a service company to be serviced. It does not mean going and visiting the grandkids. It means one thing and one thing only. When you come into the country, whether you're driving north through Coots or you're landing in one of our airports, you must go directly and immediately to your home without stopping. And if you need supplies at home, if you need groceries or other critical supplies, you've got to call family, friends, or neighbors to help you out with that, or delivery services. We will not tolerate people coming in from overseas and then mixing with the general population. They would be threatening public health in Alberta. I cannot emphasize this strongly enough. We have heard too many stories about people who think that this is the self-isolation rule for 14 days upon arrival is some kind of a vague general hint or suggestion. It is not. It is an absolute public health imperative, and we are prepared to, if necessary, use stronger legal tools to impose that obligation on people and stronger penalties if they violate that direction of our public health officer. And finally, we've been made aware of a number of scams and fraudulent operations targeting the vulnerable at this time of crisis. A number of people have called the AHS Health Link to report that they had received a call from someone claiming to be from Alberta Health Services who told them they had tested positive for COVID-19. The caller then requested the person's personal health care number, ID, and credit card information. In addition, cybersecurity incidents involving malware and fraudulent activities, including identity theft, are being reported across Alberta in the wake of COVID-19. Cyber criminals are sending emails and setting up fake websites designed to trick people into clicking links that install malicious software on their computers or capture credentials and other personal information. In light of these scams, Albertans should exercise caution when clicking on links or providing personal information to people or organizations that request that information about COVID if it's done so unsolicited. Such emails could be claiming to offer links to new information or to buy surgical masks or sanitizers. Beware of suspicious emails and web links, and always think twice before you click. If you want to go to where you get the authentic, verified, official government information on the COVID response, go to alberta.ca/COVID-19. I have to say, and then finally, once again, a message there is no need for people to engage in hoarding. This morning I did a volunteer stint at the Hope Mission here in Edmonton, the homeless shelter and soup kitchen, and they told me that they've seen the number of people coming in to receive free meals has gone up by nearly 80% in the past 2 weeks, and yet they are struggling to get supplies because their suppliers are being stressed by the demand in the grocery stores and in the grocery system. This is outrageous. So folks, the poorest amongst us are being hurt by people who are unnecessarily hoarding. So let me just say to those who are trying to exploit seniors and others during this time of a public health emergency, there must be a special place in hell for people like that. Just stop it. And it is completely un-Canadian. It is un-Albertan. It is unacceptable. It is illegal. And if we catch anybody who's engaged in these kinds of frauds or scams, I guarantee you the book will be thrown at them and they will face the full force of the law. If people are aware of any of these frauds or scams, please report them to the Government of Alberta by going to alberta.ca.